Imagine a time before clocks and calendars, when the world marked its passing not with numbers, but with the warming of the air, the budding of trees, and the return of birdsong. Across thousands of years in every corner of the earth, the arrival of spring has stirred something deep in the human spirit. It is more than a season. It is a promise, a renewal, a celebration. And so, through the ages, people danced. They drank, feasted, sang, and made love. They painted their faces, masked their fears, and staged rituals both sacred and wild, all in honor of the Earth's awakening. This is the story of spring festivals, from prehistoric rites to modern carnivals. A story of fertility and fire, of drama and joy, and of the ancient human longing to banish winter and welcome life. Segment 1: Ancient Beginnings. Long before agriculture, even before writing, prehistoric humans gathered to mark the return of spring. In caves in Paleolithic Europe, we find haunting images, figures in animal masks, frozen in ritual dance. These were not just hunters, they were magicians, calling upon nature's spirits to awaken the world. Later, as humanity settled and sowed the first crops, the seasonal celebrations became even more vital. Fertility rites for land, animals, and people took center stage. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Babylonians reenacted their creation myth each spring. At its heart was a sacred act, the ritual marriage of the king and a priestess, performed in a flower-filled chamber. This was no mere pageantry. It was divine magic to ensure that life would return and the world would bloom once more. Segment 2: The Greeks and the Power of Celebration. The ancient Greeks, lovers of revelry, of gods and drama, brought their own passion to the spring. They honored Dionysus, the god of wine, fertility, and transformation, in grand festivals like the Lenaea and the Great Dionysia. Sacrifices were made. Wine flowed freely. And in open-air theaters, tragedies and comedies came to life, born from the choral hymns of older, wilder rites. And behind it all was the mystery, that ancient blend of sex and spirit, of chaos and rebirth. Even the dead were not forgotten. Ancestral ghosts were placated, invited to join the feast before being gently sent back to rest. Segment 3: Roman Adaptations and the Magic of Renewal. The Romans, with their gift for order and expansion, took these spring rites and wove them into something new. In March, priests called the Cybele danced through the streets. In April, shepherds celebrated Perilia, a rural rite filled with fire and joy. The Venalia praised the vineyards, and the Floralia honored flowers and fertility with games, dances, and a riot of color. One of the oldest was the Lupercalia, held in February, still winter by the calendar, but spring in the Roman soul. Its rituals were raw and primal. Young men ran through the streets, whipping passers-by, especially barren women, to stimulate fertility. A strange act, yes, but rich with symbolic meaning, to drive away evil, awaken the earth, and summon new life. Segment 4: Christianity and the Transformation of Spring. When Christianity spread through Europe, it did not erase these ancient customs. It reshaped them. Spring festivals became entwined with the Christian calendar. The wild joy of the old rites now preceded Lent, a season of abstinence. Shrove Tuesday, or Fat Tuesday, became the final indulgence before the fast. A last fling and a first. Pancakes in Britain. Masked parades in Spain. Dancing in Italy. These were not just echoes of the past. They were expressions of a joy too old, too rooted to be forgotten. And yet beneath the church's solemn language, the pulse of older seasons still beat. People still dressed in masks to chase off evil. They still sang rude songs, mimed sacred marriages, and danced into the night. Segment 5, Motifs of Spring, Mask, Sex, and Chaos. What makes a spring festival? The elements repeat again and again across continents and centuries. There is feasting, sometimes symbolic like the eating of pancakes, sometimes riotous. There is dancing, often dramatic or mimetic, invoking the renewal of life. There are parades, from the Germanic ship wagon of the goddess Nerthus to modern floats gliding down city streets. There are masks. Always masks. From primitive animal disguises to elaborate carnival faces, they serve the same ancient purpose: to hide, to protect, and to liberate. And there is sex. Not always literal, but always present. In the coarse antics of clowns, in folk dramas of lovers and births, in the symbolic marriage of land and sky. And at the heart of it all, reversal. Fools become kings. Men become women. Order gives way to misrule. Because to birth a new world, the old one must fall away, if only for a day. Segment 6, Spring Around the World. In the cold north, where snow still lingers in February, the call of spring is perhaps even louder. In Finland, children race sleds on Shrove Tuesday, and if the sleds travel far, the crops will grow tall. In Germany and Austria, masked demons, the Skamen, leap and shriek, driving away winter. In Cologne, a prince of Fastnacht rules over a kingdom of jesters. In Zurich, an effigy of winter is ritually slain. Across Britain, traditions were simpler: pancakes, rough football, and happy mischief from apprentices freed for a day. But the deeper meaning held fast: a break in the year, a spark of joy, a hopeful glance toward the sun. In Belgium, the Gilles, decked in lace, silk, and ostrich feathers, parade through the streets, throwing oranges to the crowd, as if scattering seeds of spring itself. And in the Slavic lands, people danced for the crops, wore masks to scare off spirits, and celebrated Maslenica, Butter Week, with blini and bonfires. Segment 7, Carnival, the last great rite. Farther south, the name changed to Carnival. From the Latin carnevale, farewell to meet. But in truth, it was no farewell. It was a feast. A storm of celebration before the silence. In Italy, Carnival stretches from January to Shrove Tuesday. In Venice, an effigy of indulgence is crowned, then burned. In Spain and Portugal, costumed fools sing lewd songs, and mock battles are fought with flowers and fire. In Mexico, Carnival inherits the soul of the Aztecs. Sacred battles are danced, devils mocked, and old gods remembered beneath the veil of saints. And in Brazil, Carnival becomes legend. In Rio de Janeiro, it burst into life. Parades stretch for miles. Costumes dazzle. Societies and samba schools compete in a spectacle of rhythm and brilliance. But even here, deep beneath the sequins and lights, lies the same ancient instinct: to cast off winter, to shake loose the darkness, to dance into the light. Segment 8, Mardi Gras, America's Wild Spring. In New Orleans, the French settlers brought their spring rites, and they took root. Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday. Here the traditions bloomed into something grand. From secret societies, crews, came parades, balls, and tableaus. The mystic crew of Comus, the crew of Rex, the Knights of Momus, each with their own flair, their own myths, their own masks. And from the people came the wildness. Black parades. Zulu kings with ham bones for scepters. Jazz bands winding through streets thick with beads, laughter, and music. It became a spectacle. A business. A tourist magnet. But at its core, it remains a ritual, a celebration of turning, of transformation, of rebirth. Final segment. Why we celebrate. Across time and space, spring festivals share a purpose. They are not merely parties. They are acts of hope, of magic. To dance, to sing, to feast, is to believe that the world will bloom again. That life, no matter how long the winter, will return. From Mesopotamian kings to masked revelers in Rio, from ancient fertility rites to neon-lit parades, we tell the same story. We say winter is over. We say the earth wakes. We say let there be life.